Hey guys, you have a responsibility to get out and practice and familiarize yourself with your firearm, where it's shooting, where it's hitting. You need to have confidence in your gun. Plus, always practice safe gun handling. Always treat the gun as though it were loaded. Never put your finger in the trigger guard until you're ready to shoot. And don't ever point a gun at anything, even if you know that it's unloaded. Never muzzle someone. Those are important, and if you follow those few rules, then you will have safe gun handling. So, I've shot many unloaded guns, so be careful out there. Practice, practice, practice. It is vital to your skills. Now, there are two purposes for me sharing this video with you. For one thing, I wanted to sight in my ACOG. It was on an arm swan sleeve, which was a riser that brought it up to another angle. It was sighted in for that. I removed the sight and put it on a different rifle. So everything had to be changed. Typically, these will re-zero, this mount will. It's a Trijicon mount that I bought with the scope. And this will re-zero, but when you move elevation down and you start screwing around, you end up getting off zero. So I needed to get this on zero. But one of the more important things is to remember a few things that will save you a lot of money in ammunition and time. Now, having a successful day at the shooting range requires you to carry a number of items. Sometimes this can be easy to forget, so I have learned to make a list. And I don't always follow my list like I did the last time I went to the range and forgot my tools, which was a nightmare because I could only do so much. And so I took the trip out there and got everything set up, and with just a few more tools, I could have gotten so much more accomplished. So my tool bag, also my screwdriver. I keep this with me at all times, and of course my rifle and scope. Hearing and eye protection are important. Sandbags is one thing I forgot the last time I was there. That really makes it nice to have this for a rest. There were other things that I used, but this would have been nicer. I used 20 round magazines sighting in my AR-15 to get it low enough to fit on the sandbags and be on the table. The bore sighter I like to do before I go, but if you carry it, it doesn't weigh a lot, as you can see, and I carry it just in case I need to do some sighting in there at the range. Of course, targets are important, and this is important too, a nice pen to be able to mark the targets where you're shooting, especially when you're sighting in a rifle. So a good pair of binoculars or a spotting scope, which this is an older pair, but this glass is really nice. It's a Bell & Howell old set. And I really like these. It's 8 power. I would say that's about minimum for 100 yards to be able to really get what you need. Good ammunition is important, and of course I've been shooting this HPR out of Arizona, and if for no other reason because they're in Arizona and made here in the USA, I love it. In fact, they've had some contracts that have been discarded because in California, they're boycotting a lot of the Arizona products. Can I say this? Would you please support HPR? That is a bunch of bull, and I think, honestly, Arizona is one of my hero states. In fact, I think it's moving higher and higher on the list, and HPR, we need to support this company. The price is excellent. I'll have the link to their website below, but I've talked about HPR in the past, but, you need to go on there and check out their ammo. It is excellent quality, and it's all made in the USA. For me, inevitably, if I don't go by my list, I'll forget something. Now, I honestly spent probably 2 hours sighting in this scope, and I know some of you are going, good grief, but what I didn't do was I didn't bore sight my rifle ahead of time. And I was showing you how to do that. The second thing that I did not do is the range that I go to shoot at 25 yards. You have to have a target, a stand at least 3 feet tall. And I did not carry my stand, which I'm going to show you how to put that stand together in an upcoming video. But really, you need to sight in your rifle at 25 yards, and it should be dead on. That'll put you dead on at 200. And then at 100 yards, you'll be 2 inches above the zero. So that's the way to sight in your rifle at 200 yards. It gives you a good medium range. At 100 yards, you'll just be 2 inches high, which is easily compensated for if you even need to. So 25 yard sight in, but first laser or bore sight your rifle. This will save you time and money and give you more money or more ammunition to be able to get your groups tighter instead of worrying about just hitting the paper. First, we have to put the batteries in the bore sighter. There's not an off and on switch, so if you leave the batteries in, it'll just run it down. In fact, it'll even come on without putting the cap on. So what I want to do is I'm going to put it in my chamber. So of course this chamber is empty. Place it into the chamber. And then we're going to slowly release the bolt. I don't want to hammer this, well, there you go. Now we're ready to bore sight the rifle into the target. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the laser onto the target looking through the scope. And what you want to do is to see if your crosshairs are in line with the laser. Now this is showing low. The laser is low and about, let's say about 3, well I can see the marks, 2 inches low. 1 inch to the right. So you can hone in, you can go ahead and set your windage and elevation to match that, and then that will help you to get on the paper earlier with your first shots. So a bore sighter really saves you a lot of money. I think this bore sighter was about 20 bucks, but I can save that in ammunition, especially over the long haul. As you can see, here's the target that comes with the bore sighter. I'm going to have a close-up with the laser, but you'll probably want to make copies of this. I made copies. This is the original manufacturer's copy, but of course if you use this a long period of time you could definitely mess this up, so I just make a copy. Here's the actual reticle of my ACOG. They have updated this reticle, by the way, but it does have a bullet drop compensator on the vertical line going down. This is for 223. Also in the center, the little crosshairs do have tritium in low light situations. So, but the glass is beautiful. Absolutely perfect glass. You can see the front side of the AR, but it does not obstruct. But it also keeps it low on the bore axis, which I like. Now this may seem simple, but I'm going to go ahead and just talk about this for a second. This is your elevation, and this just unscrews. It's sealed on the ACOG, but on any scope you'd have the same kind of deal. It'll say up. So if you want to move your, if you need to go up, you can do a click, which is a 1/4 MOA, which means at 100 yards it's approximately 1/4 of an inch. So if you're an inch, if you're an inch low, you need to go up. So you go 4 clicks, and you'll hear a definite click, 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 click when you turn it. What I do is, and you'll see in some video, I leave the caps off when I'm sighting it in. Here is windage, and this is side to side. And this will have, on this scope, it says to the right, and you do. So if you need to turn to the right, you just click 1/4 of an, one turn, one little click is 1/4 of an inch. I always err on the lower. I don't go usually a lot of clicks. I try to do about, if it's according to how far that it needs to move, but I try to shy from going too far. I'd rather be a little bit short and kind of follow my bullet path that way. Now here's my target, but because I forgot my initial 25-yard target, I was really having a hard time finding the paper, and actually had my buddy spot for me on a hill behind the target as I would shoot dirt clods. So finally, when I did hit the paper, as you can see, just boom, boom, boom. But I had been so far off the paper, my group was not that tight. I was just trying to find myself on the paper, which, here we go. Then I brought it down here, if you can see this lower group. And this brought me even more in line, but I was shooting low. Probably from this, I went down. Probably went down too far. And then began to move it up. And as you can see, group. And then I pasted it on up. And then I pulled in right here. That was my last group. That's a little closer shot right there. But that's really what you want. Putting the group together is as important as anything. Because if you're doing a spread out, then you're not grouping. And you really don't know where you're shooting. But once you start honing it in, you know that you're being consistent and that you can move that sight. And then that makes it really important. The group is important. Evil prevails when good men do nothing. Take a stand, be a man, and do the right thing, always. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more fun gun reviews and sensible survival. God bless America. Long live the Republic. We are after a day at the range. It was about 98 degrees. This is where I need to be.